This is Amaranth.
And this is Eminence,
Come talk with me about.
setting boundaries and alone time.
All right, those are two
Now,
good ones.
they are. Like I said, I try to make sure we pick topics that, are impressive for everyone. Um,
Impressive.
Impressive. Now, when we're talking about setting boundaries, we're more talking about ground rules for you and your partner. And I know we talked about this a little bit before recording, that I admire polyamorous relationships because they are so good at setting ground rules and setting boundaries for themselves.
I don't. I wouldn't consider boundaries and ground rules the same.
Would you not?
Mm-mm.
Elaborate.
I. I'm trying to gather the words. I feel like ground rules are something that you just have at the beginning. Like you look like, hey, this is who I am as a person. This is what I'm going to do. A, B, and C. And then I feel like boundaries are learned through a relationship. Like, okay, this is as far as I can go with this, or you can only I'll only I don't know, hold your hand or do this amount because after that then I get annoyed. I feel like a ground rule is more like um and I could be wrong, but this is how it is in my head. Just like no, I'm not doing this, or we're only going on vacation like one time this year, or that's just how I am. But boundaries are more fluid and grow and or shrink as you are in that relationship.
I
Maybe.
will say I agree that boundaries can be fluid, but I feel like ground rules can be fluid as well. Just depending on what the ground rules are about. So for me, I'm thinking ground rules based on how you interact with that person. If that person's not comfortable with PDA, that might be a boundary or a ground rule that they know about themselves. So they've already let you know, and that's already set. Then as they become comfortable, or if they become comfortable with PDA, that might be something that you guys can reevaluate and reassess.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. I just I don't know, maybe I'll Google later. I just feel like they're different, but for the sake of not getting lost, we can just we'll just move on and talk about them in general.
Well, no, this is important because we want to make sure that we are, talking about and creating standards for exactly what we're talking about. So, for understanding purposes,
Right.
I do think ground rules are kind of more all encompassing, whereas boundaries are more of a personal aspect. So, you might have, ground rules for the house, ground rules for things like that, whereas boundaries are definitely between, the people you're with, the personal boundaries that are created. But I would say that ground rules and boundaries both intersect when it comes to those personal, how you interact, those personal interactions.
Right. And again, just to clarify with everyone, typically when we're talking about this stuff, we're talking about everyone, family, relationships, significant others, friends. We're not just talking about like husband and wife, or
Right.
husband, wife and wife, whatever you know, whatever your deal is.
N- Right. Not necessarily romantic interactions or relationships,
Right.
but all relationships.
So,
Now, that being said, I do think boundaries, if you know things about yourself, boundaries are important to communicate early on. And then, we
absolutely.
talked about um, kind of, I don't want to say the word settle, but I'm trying to think what the word I'm looking for. Well, until then, that you have to compromise. That's the word.
There you
You have
go.
to compromise between, what you're comfortable with and what your partner is comfortable with. So if your partner is really physical and you are not so much, or you don't like physical touch that much, um, y'all might have to compromise so that there is some physical touch, but not enough. Like he shouldn't be, or he or she should not be fully satisfied. Whoever appreciates that physical touch should not just be constantly, satisfied, and that just leaves the other partner miserable or uncomfortable.
I agree. I agree. There are. there are limits and levels to it. We'll talk about love languages in a different one, but it's just for this example. Yes, if you are not a touchy person and your significant other is a touchy person, you have to figure out like what level are you willing to deal with, because if they're not willing to go down enough or you're not willing to go up enough to meet in the middle, then that clearly just won't work. And again, all of that leads to resentment.
There you
So
go.
you have to know your limit and your boundary and how much you're willing to flex, because in relationships you'll have to flex. You'll have to bend and bow to figure out what's good for the two of you.
Right, and that's constantly, no matter what your relationship style is. Um, Even with your friends, like knowing what they're into, you might get out of your comfort zone to try out something, one of their hobbies, something like that. Um, or even if that's something that they want to do alone, and so like, hey, we could hang out, but they're doing this thing, and that's a really personal thing for them to deal with and do, and they prefer to do that alone. Don't hang out at that time.
Yeah, that's a good
Reschedule.
boundary.
Yeah. So, like we said, it's not all about romantic relationships. It is. I don't want to say there's a higher stake for it with romantic relationships.
Well, it's
Um,
definitely a higher stake. Depend on what our example just or what our example just was, like the physical touch, then yes, it's a much higher stake. But
yeah.
in general, boundaries are very important. Emirath and I, we've been friends for a very long time. It's kind of not even something we would discuss at this point, but you have to. I said eminence. Um,
I caught that, but I was gonna let it go.
no, I have to hold myself accountable.
Okay.
But yeah, so if you're with your friend, especially with new friends, you have to figure out like how much you want to talk on the phone, how much you want to hang out, how much you're willing to talk to each other. Like, do you like to be left on red? Is that something that pisses you off? Like all those little things are like boundaries. Like me personally, like if you leave me on red, I'm like you're dead to me. Eminence knows this.
That quick. That
So
quick. What happened?
yeah, so that's just something that I say it early on. I'm like, hey, don't do that. Just don't read it. Just don't read it.
Right. Yeah.
So,
No.
you know,
And Amaranth knows that I keep my social circles, like I keep all my circles very separate.
agree.
Um, like I go to work, I take nothing personal into work. Um, my coworkers usually know that I'm married, mostly because I have a ring on, and they will almost never meet my wife, mostly because she's not necessarily a social person, so she doesn't necessarily like going to social events, even at the office. But
Correct.
yeah, I was like, I don't take pictures, nothing. I work, friends, even different groups of friends don't usually meet. Um, Amaranth here, he's one of my more laid back friends. So I do have friends who are, if I'm thinking, they usually invite me to crazier things or more energetic things. Um, and I know that's not Amaranth's environment. And it's not really my environment either, but I don't mind going for the experience and then kind of settling back down afterwards because they exhaust me. Um, but like I said, usually I keep my social circles very separate, and those are my boundaries. I'm like, I might tell someone I'm not going to hang out with you today because I got other things planned with this other person. I'm not, inviting that person along with to the event. So,
Yeah, just say, hey, this is what I'm doing.
right, exactly.
Don't worry about it. This is what I'm doing.
Exactly, exactly.
So, but on the same token, just to double off what you said earlier, like when you're doing the hobbies and alone time is a boundary that everyone should have. Um,
Oh yeah, definitely.
if you have a hobby by yourself, wonderful. If you enjoy that thing, just do it alone. Um, everyone needs that time, even if you're just like me personally. Like I love people. I love my people. I do not love people in general, but I love my people, and I could spend time with them just constantly. but I have to remind myself like, hey, I need my time to decompress. I need my time to pull back and recharge, and that you just need that time for yourself.
Yeah, yeah, and that's important for your own mental health is to well, I mean, however you recharge, but definitely take some time to yourself, relax, catch your breath, do something that you enjoy so that you can come back and, you know, be a well-rested you. 'Cause
Right.
that's usually what your other circles need is you at 100%, which is why you get paid days off for work because they don't want you burnt out. Um, your spouse or whoever you're with, they need you at 100%. So you need to be able to kind of leave when things are a little down. Take a walk if you have a child while they're asleep, or while your partner has everything handled, or just take some time to yourself so you can come back and be the best you.
Right. And you might not even notice what's happening. You might just be irritable or fatigued and just not really know why. And it's because, not all the time obviously, but you just need that you just need that time. And I don't know what you like, I don't know what you do. If you want to just lay in your bed and stare at the ceiling, then that's your thing. That's what you want to do. Do that thing.
Yeah. I mean, now I know what you like and I know what you do. And I just want to encourage you to do what you do and do what you like.
Well, some of us are not clairvoyant, but
I mean,
um,
it's a good skill to have.
it is absolutely a good skill to have. We should make some money off of that.
That'd be greedy. I don't want to do all that.
I mean, is it
Nope.
though?
It is. It is. And we're getting off topic, so we're going to drop my clairvoyance and we're going to keep on going with boundaries and alone time.
But is clairvoyance not what you do in your downtime, in your alone time?
No, no, that's not.
Oh, well, okay. Well, fine then. But yeah, at the end of the day, just the boundaries and the alone time, they go hand in hand. You have to just let people know, and it hurts and it's hard, and just to tell the people that you love, like, look, I need this, this, and this to make this work. So you don't ever want to look them in the eye and just be like, no,
Right.
because
All right.
who enjoys doing that?
And I think a issue a lot of people have might be, for one, sometimes they feel selfish to ask for time by yourself, especially if you're a parent. Like it seems almost unfeasible. Because you have a lot of responsibility on you. And so, everyone around you kind of comes first. But at the same time, you do have to take care of yourself so that you're able to take care of them. So it's easier when you have a partner to help you with it. But for the single parents, you do have to find some way, even if it's, after the kids go to bed or something like that. And I know usually that's your time probably to catch up on chores around the house or whatnot, depending on how young they are. But if you need to just put on your headphones, blast some music with your headphones on, so you're not waking up the children, and just kind of turn your living room into a club while you do whatever you need to do, just so you can go to sleep and wake up with the best mentality you can to take on the next day. Um,
I mean, I know
whatever you
people
guys
that
do.
love grocery shopping. They're just like, this is my time. Like, my kids are not with me. My husband does not like this. My wife does not like this. Let me grocery shop. Let me walk around uh, Kroger, wherever, with my headphones on and just
Yeah,
go ham. And that's something. That's their alone time. I mean, other people might be there, but they're not there for you. They're doing their own thing.
yeah,
So
they're
it
not
doesn't
bothering you.
right. So it doesn't necessarily have to be no other humans around, which I prefer. But everyone likes their own thing. So
Yeah. I knew one guy who he liked cutting the grass. Um, so when he
that's
got
great.
overwhelmed or stressed, yeah, he just went to the garage, got the lawnmower out, started cutting grass.
I mean,
So
that would be awesome. No, mine is not like that. I would love to just be like, let me go be productive.
right. But doing the groceries, that's also a productive thing. It's important.
That's true.
I do wonder how that works out if like if you already have groceries in the house or you just walk around the grocery store getting nothing, or
I mean, usually you go once a week. A lot of people go once a week.
yeah, that's true.
So that's at least. I mean, parents might only have once a week to be able to get their downtime. Some might get more, some might get less. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah, no.
no matter how you get it, I'm gonna let Eminence tell you what you should do next.
Next, spend some alone time with that subscribe button or with that thumbs up button, that like. Try to avoid the dislike. That's stressful. Pressing dislike is a stressful thing to do. Not gonna go there. But subscribe and liking, that brings all the serotonin, all the good feels.
To you, us, and your family, to everyone.
Everyone. So everyone should do it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Join us next
All right.
time.